Welcome back to another episode of Andrew's Garage, and today we are finishing up the 67 Chevy. And I know I've said this for a while, but it is really down to just the small minute things, and that's what we're going to address tonight. And for example, I need to do the battery tie down, which is just a little clip. It wasn't with the truck when I bought it, so I'm going to make one. I got to support this upper radiator hose and get it kind of set in stone. I want to check all the bolts tonight on the truck. The motor mounts, I want to check the subframe bolted in. I want to check all those bolts. I want to check the shocks. I want to pack the wheel bearings and check them out, see how they look. The rear ones are fine. I know it's filled with fluid. I want to check my brakes, make sure they don't need to be adjusted in the rear. See how the pedal feels, the clutch, if it stayed pumped up, then that's good. And I really just want to do the small, minute things to make sure it's roadworthy before I try to take it up the road tomorrow. So just trying to button up all the small and final things, and you'll see that on today's episode. But for now, let's kick off and let's get this small battery tie down made real quick and just start piecing off things one by one. And for example, this is where the factory hold down bolted, and it was basically just a piece that was fitted to this long ways, and it just helped crimp down the battery. Now, it doesn't need to be that extravagant. I could probably order one, but you know, why would I do any of that when I just got some scrap laying around I could make? So I went ahead, cut out this small piece right here, and basically I just need to bend it to that hole right there and then mark it for a hole. Once I get it bent and bolted in, it should be perfect. So we'll go ahead and get this guy bent, get a hole drilled in it, and install it. Here we have our bent piece of scrap metal laying around, and if we look, if I set that down, when I go to tighten it, that will be a good enough hold down. So now I just have to make sure I drill the hole just right so it's not too far away and it won't actually do its job. So let's get the hole drilled and get it installed. It's hard to tell because I spray painted it black, but battery tie down is a success. Battery is now firm. So now let's move on to making another bracket for this radiator hose. So we'll see what we can do here. I'm still thinking about the best way to come about it, but because I don't want any rubbish. So let's go to the drawing board and see what we can come up with. So I made some kind of holder here. It's nothing special. It's literally made out of PVC and a scrap piece of metal, but I think it'll do its job. It's just to keep it from bouncing off the fan, keep it out of the tensioner pulley down here, and I think it'll work. So that's now checked off the list. As far as everything up front goes, I can't think of a single thing that can go wrong. So now I'm just going to move on to the body panels, which I know the fenders are tight, I know the hood's tight, I know all this stuff is tight. And let's move on to something that I know isn't tight, which would be this inner fender bolt that's hanging low over here. Go ahead and get it tightened up, and I'm just going to start running through the truck on the bottom side and seeing what's loose and what's not loose. Well, I'm going to repack these wheel bearings because God knows when the last time they were packed. Grease all the joints and start doing some bolt checks, making sure everything's good on the front end and stuff like that. Go ahead and check this rag joint while I got it out. Stuff like that, just little things. The main points is the whole front suspension, make sure it's all tight, make sure the steering's tight. I know the rear trailing arm stuff is tight because I just did that recently, and I know I checked everything back there, so I'm pretty confident in all that. But basically what I got left to do tonight is pack these wheel bearings, grease this front end, put all the cotter pins in, bolt the seats down, the seat belts, which is no big deal, tack the exhaust on. So I still got quite a bit to do and not a whole lot of time to do it, so working as fast as I can. There we go. Cotter pins out. Go ahead and set my rags up again for just gonna give her a nice little wipe down here. beautiful catch. I don't say so myself. I'm just smearing the grease that's still inside of this and kind of repacking the bearing on the back side with my finger. Keep forcing it around that lip and it'll pack it. See how it's feeling. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. Try to wipe the dirt off my hands. Not the way you're supposed to do it, but whatever. Put a pretty decent glob in your hand, and then what you're doing is on that open side right here, you're making a lip, so it has, you're forcing the grease into the lip, and as you go, I'll show you. You're just chunking off a little bit at a time, and you can see it starts pushing that grease out of the bearing, and I'm just going until I see fresh grease. Stuff's getting weird. There we go. Now it's nice to take a mental note of where that cotter pin is going to go through at, so when you're tying it down, you kind of remember. This one's kind of sitting a little off center to the right, vertical. And with these big trucks, you get them pretty tight. So now I just need to find my cotter pin location. Once again, this tool's nice for it. And I'm almost there. Just a tickle more. And I'm lined up. Take my old pin. Now we can put our cap back on. Put the wheel back on it. I'm gonna go to the back and get the exhaust tack next. Well, we've left for the maiden voyage in the 67, and I currently haven't seen it go above 180 degrees, and I've been driving it for about 15 minutes, so I don't know what that means. You know, I'm assuming it's all good, but I haven't heard the fans kick on either, so I mean, it's pretty chilly outside, so that could be it, where it's just big radiator. LS is cool good anyways. It could be that, or it could be the fact of temperature sensor has an air pocket on it, it's not reading it, and the fans just aren't kicking on either. So could be a big mixture. I don't really know. I'm hoping for the best here. So far so good, and I'll update you when I get a little farther. Well, it's made the most important drive of its life to one of my favorite places ever. Hobo freight. Got me some corrugated pipe from the downspouts. Got me some stuff from Hobo Freight I don't need. So far, 0 issues. Can't complain. Well, the 67 is doing amazing. Been driving it for about a half hour now, maybe more. Hasn't overheated. Hasn't done, you know, anything stupid. There's really no big vibrations or anything that worries me. Now, the fuel gauge, I know how to fix it. I just got to really get it filled all the way up with fuel and then set that preset. And honestly, I might have to just take the sending unit out to adjust it, because that's the way I should have done it, unless I got some kind of different device I can set it, because I'm supposed to move the arm for half and full and set and calibrate it to the gauge, and I should have done it out of the tank, but I didn't. So I might be a little bit stuck there. The water temp kind of concerns me a little bit, but it hasn't puked or done anything, and it doesn't smell hot. So the thermostat's opening and closing, I think, but the fans are not kicking on, so I got to dig into that a little bit. Volt gauge is reading perfectly fine. Everything's normal there. But the oil pressure, it's being weird. Now, I know it has oil pressure because it would have done exploded by now if I ran it for 30 minutes on 0 pounds, but the second I let off the throttle, the oil gauge starts to work. It's preset like it's turning on, so I don't know what's up with that. Maybe the pedal's touching a wire that it shouldn't be. I don't know. I gotta dig into that and figure out why, because if I let off the pedal, it goes and reads like it should. So definitely some weird stuff going on. But I know I had oil pressure before I changed the motor out, and I know it's got oil pressure now. It should be around 60 at idle, which at idle, when you're not pressing the gas pedal, you can tell. But those are just things you don't know until you get them on the road and take them out for a spin. Now around 50 miles an hour has a little bit of a giddy up to it, but when it goes to 55 where you're driving all the time, it goes away completely and it's smooth. Honestly, you can drive this truck with one leg, which I love that about it. So I'm pretty happy with it. We're doing about 55 and the RPMs don't seem crazy. The speedometer's now 10 miles an hour off due to the different gears in the rear. Went from 456s to 373s. So of course that'll be off 10 miles an hour. Definitely a few weird things, but overall the old truck is driving good and I couldn't be happier with it. I'm ready to put some more miles on it, get these things kind of ironed out and start driving it back and forth to work, because that was the end goal with it, was to get this guy going so I can go back and forth to work in it. I love driving a manual every day. I love driving old trucks, and man, this is a good one. So thanks for watching today's episode of Andrew's Garage. I hope you liked it. There really wasn't too much on it, but that's just the time that I had. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to tune in next week for another episode. Till then, we will see you later.